Welcome back, everyone, to another featured appearance of Dr. Lisa Leal, Meridian Health Institute. And we are the Everyday Health Heroes, and you're going to be hearing more about that as we talk. And today we're going to talk about something that's been very popular. We're in the South. There's lots of hornets, bees, wasps, pretty much you name it. So we're going to talk about insect bites this next program and talk about what you can do to be prepared and to avoid. So stay tuned. And we hope you subscribe.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Everyday Health Hacker, which is now going to become Everyday Health Heroes. This is the podcast. Isn't that great?
Yes, I'm excited about the change. Changes
right.
are always good and always a season.
Well, people have been saying you've been a hero.
Oh,
so
thank
let's
you.
just call it Everyday Health Heroes because we're not hacking anything anymore. We're actually saving people. So, all right. I'm Mike Herzing, and this amazing young lady next to me is Dr. Lisa Leal.
Thank you so much. Glad to be back.
Dr. Leal, Chief Medical Officer, right here at Meridian Health Institute in Sugar Land, Texas, where they just take care of everything you need. They just take care of you. And if they don't know, if they can't handle it, they find somebody that does.
That's right. We have
the best
vetted
part.
specialists as part of our program.
It's like a whole, group
We're a family.
of people. It's family.
We are family.
An extended family. Our goal is to provide you with that one nugget that you might need to really make a difference in your life and your health. And that's a big deal. And this is what they do for a living, and they do it very, very well.
Oh, thanks for sharing the kind words.
Well, you saved our tail the other day, so we're going to talk about that.
Well, share
in
us a
just
little
minute.
bit about what happened.
Well, the other day we have a place up in East Texas, a tree farm, and my wife was going out there. We were going to mow around some big trees, and she was, there's some sticks down. They have wind farms. We have 30 acres, and it's nothing but pine trees and oak trees and things. And so, all right, so she's cleaning it off, and all of a sudden, yellow jackets come out, and just a cloud of them. And there's, come to find out, in these ground nests, there's like 3,000 to 4,000 of them.
Wow.
Easily, okay? And they get really angry. Bees will chase you, okay, and they'll bite you sometimes if they get mad enough, but then they leave you alone. They just go, get away.
They're
We
more
just don't want
curious
you around
creatures.
you. Right. They're just warning you to get out of the way. Wasps and mud daubers, the red wasps especially, they can get a little testy. Mud daubers don't really mess with you too much, but they can. But yellow jackets, those suckers are mean.
And they go
will
after you.
Bite you. They will chase you. They chased her at least 100 yards, 300 feet.
She went into water, or how did she get rid of them, or she just kept running?
She ran into the house, and all of a sudden, she's real funny. Our security camera is going to show me peeling off all my clothes, And she was peeling everything off because they were all in her clothes. And the stingers were all there. Oh, it was terrible. So what would somebody like that do when something like that happens? What would you do, folks, if something like that, your spouse or your children or something came up to you and they were absolutely freaked out? She had over 70 stings. That's 70 stings. All right.
Yes.
Now, my wife is not a small person. Don't get me wrong. She's as tall as I am. But it all hurts. It really does.
Yes,
and
it's very
the pain
painful.
was getting to her, and the adrenaline was starting to pump, and I'm like, boy, if she has an
The
allergic
adrenaline's
reaction,
good.
we're going to be in We're going to have a
Yes.
problem. But what did I do? I called you.
Yes.
And even though it was, I think it was a Saturday, you were right there.
Yes.
And you answered, and she goes, "What do you need?" And she goes, "You told me to take these prednisone, take this."
Yes, I'm like,
Benadryl."
what do you have in the cabinet?
That's
Do
right.
you have Benadryl?
Right.
Which is something that I always share, that when you're traveling, you're going on vacation, you should always carry Benadryl for something like this. I mean, we don't plan for it, but these things happen.
And you're thinking, oh, if I give her Benadryl, she's going to have to carry her to the emergency room. No, 3 Benadryl, because of the adrenaline she had pumping,
Right.
she was wide awake. It didn't affect her.
Right.
I'd be down like a rhinoceros being targeted. I mean, I'm done.
But the concern was, if she was going to have,
Allergic
some people
reaction.
they'll get a sting, but it's not necessarily an allergic reaction.
Right.
It's just a sting. And when it's an allergic reaction, people can go into what we call anaphylaxis shock, which they can stop breathing, their tongue can swell,
Right.
which can swell so much to where their throat closes and they're not able to breathe. So that was our main concern.
Right.
So I'm like, and looking at also, I know these people, so I'm like, okay, with the other medications that she's taking,
Right.
give this to her now,
Right.
and call me once you get there.
We got to the emergency room up in Lufkin, Texas, up in East Texas, nice town. And we there, and they were like, okay, what have you done? And we told her, and I said, they went, "Oh, that's perfect." I said, "Well, I can't take credit."
Thanks.
So they took care of it. They gave her another, another steroid shot, a little something for pain because it hurt.
Painful.
And then we pulled out what stingers that hadn't come out already. But,
Ouch.
but what's wild is, the next day she was okay. I mean,
Yes.
but she never swelled up. She never had the reaction that we were hoping she wouldn't.
And that's because the Benadryl is quick acting, and then the prednisone is going to last in your body for a couple of days.
Right.
So between getting it started and then also getting an IM, which is the injection form, that's going to help throughout the days. And fortunately, she didn't have an allergic reaction like some patients
I
can
would.
have.
I would have.
Yeah.
Just like we keep prednisone around because my oldest son, when they come to visit and bring the grandkids and things like that, or my youngest son, Travis.
Poison ivy.
Poison ivy. And poor Travis, I've only had poison ivy once in my life.
Yeah. He always
and
gets
it's
it.
recently. But before that, it never bothered me. I never even knew what it looked like.
Yes.
But poor Travis, he goes near it, or the dog gets it and it rubs it on him, or something like that. Oh, he's done. And
the interesting part about poison ivy is that it usually, you can transfer it from your hands,
Right.
but your hands usually don't get it.
Yeah.
So that's
Isn't
always
that weird?
something really interesting about that, because so if you've got that resin on your hands, anything that you touch
Or the
can
dog.
spread, or a pet,
Cat,
if they rub into it, that is such a disaster when that happens. That's high dose prednisone. And so, your whole family kind of has prednisone around the houses so that they can be ready.
It's not a bad idea, and our dogs take it too. So there we go. It's the same thing. But
Yes.
it's funny. I have a neighbor. They have a cat that's an outdoor cat and comes in at night, and though she'll come over there and how the cat's kind of. I'm not a cat person, but
It's okay.
they come around your. They kind of rub against you, and they your legs and things like that. Well, she's 60, but the cat goes rubs against her legs and stuff. Okay, cool, no problem. That's sweet kitty. Well, guess what? Kitty had poison ivy.
Oh, yes.
So now she wakes up and goes, she's covered in poison ivy on her thighs and
Oh.
outside of her legs and her shins. And I'm like, what's that from? She goes, the cat.
The cat.
And-
Absolutely. That happens. And, it's interesting because you can get poison ivy in one area, but once it gets in systemically, it can crop. So that means that it can be on your lower legs, even though you didn't touch it later, because it can go through your body
good.
systemically, which is always,
On your back,
always
you
uncomfortable.
but usually it's areas that you don't want to have it come out at.
So
you know?
let's talk about that.
It's
So
tough.
if it's a wasp, a hornet, any type of insect sting, having Benadryl, and I always recommend fast melt Benadryl, and a lot of people are like, where do I find that? It's in the children's aisle.
Oh, there
So
we go.
that's the easiest way to find it, is in the children's aisle. And why we call it fast melt is that you don't need water in order to take it. It'll go under your tongue, so it'll be what we call buccal or sublingual absorption, which is the fastest absorption that we can get, and that will work very quickly. So, we can take an adult dose or call the doctor and they'll dose it a little bit more, a little higher, which is what we
Right.
did. And then prednisone, having a little bit of prednisone is always great, especially with allergies, which we have a lot
Right.
of allergies, but this is great for poison ivy, like we said, insect stings. And if you happen to have a family member or you yourself are allergic, you should always be carrying an EpiPen, and you should have somebody within your crew that also knows where your EpiPen is, and you have a backup for that EpiPen in case it doesn't work, or in case you slip and it's not, and you don't get it in. So all of those things are really important. Talk to your doctor and make sure you look at your expiration dates, because while it may still work, that's something that you always want to keep where it needs to be and not expired.
Yeah, rotate them to the newest one. I know
Yes.
that they don't necessarily, they're still effective. Most things are still effective, even though it says it's expired for several years, don't get me wrong. But it's always better to get the freshest one you have.
Yes.
Now bring the other ones for backup. But if you're a hunter, if you go out fishing, this, that, you don't know when one of these things
Yes.
is going to come back and bite you, whether it's even a snake, but more of the insect stings. It's just, we've had such a wet or dry summer. It's like we have nothing in between.
Yes, and after
And-
Hurricane Beryl, we've had a very
Right.
wet summer.
It's been a nightmare. When we went to the emergency room, they said they have these things all the time.
Yes.
And they have some people come in that just near death's door, and some people that come in, it's not
Yeah.
a big problem. It's just really painful.
I've had a patient that was at his ranch. The wife called me, and he had an allergic reaction, and we life flighted him out.
Right.
And that was something that we had to coordinate. And that's the beautiful thing about having cell phones. We didn't have that many years ago, and we can coordinate that. So I also say that if you are out, especially for those people who are hunting or fishing, and it's not an area that is well known. Make sure that somebody knows where you are. Make sure you have a tracker.
Absolutely.
Know your longitude and latitude, and if you don't, just pull up Google Maps. That'll help you. I use ForeFlight because that always tells me where it is, and that's actually what we utilized in order to get life flight to that individual, and that saved his life. And unfortunately, because of all those bee stings, he ended up having a heart attack. And had life flight not gotten there when they did, and getting him to the right hospital, that would have been a very different outcome. So, again, being connected is important for safety, but also disconnecting for your mental health is also important too.
Just also make sure you have a good first aid kit. I have a big fish and tackle box that I made into a first aid kit years ago for one of my scuba classes, my rescue diver class. And I still use it. I still have the stuff. I have all these clotting agents. I have these things in case there's a cut, in case somebody's using the chainsaw and it doesn't, and something happens. Something comes off.
Yeah.
You never know.
And if you're going for an adventure, whether it's family or it's just a friend, it's your spouse, talk to your doctor before you go about what you might bring so that you have a travel kit.
Right.
I've had patients who are going to sail, and when they are stopping at small islands, they may not have the necessary ability to go see a doctor. Again, that's when satellite is always great, Wi-Fi, WhatsApp, all those types of things, because I can actually talk to them and have them pick things out of their travel kit so that we keep everybody safe. So
Sure.
again, talk to your doctors.
Yep. EpiPen. Make sure you have all the basic things like
Yes.
that. And I can tell you, it'll really make a difference.
Yeah.
It really will.
So in your travel kit, things to have are going to be children's fast melt Benadryl. Ask your doctor about antibiotics. Ask them about, especially if you're traveling down south, you might need something. Prednisone for anything that's an allergic reaction. If you can't take Benadryl, take something else like a Claritin or anything. Again, talk to your doctor. And antihistamine. Talk to your doctor about what's going to be best for you, and let your doctor know where you're going to be traveling too, because different countries have different rules. I had a patient that just got back, had gone to Japan, and she's on different medications, and we had to submit our letter 3 times before they liked the way we wrote it. So they're just wanting different information in order to get all of those medications through. So be mindful of where you're traveling and stay safe out there.
Scorpions. That's the other one.
Yeah, that's another one.
I really don't like those.
I don't like
at
scorpions
all.
and I don't like snakes. But here in Texas, we
But
have them
in
both.
Texas, we do have them both. And I've seen them in East Texas.
Yes.
So scorpions. And normally that's a West Texas or a Southwest type of thing, dry climate.
And if you're
But not
walking your
always.
dog, you're walking your pets, not just your family, but also watch them, because dogs, your pets like to go and sniff out things. And if they get close to the rocks, that can be a snake or that can be a scorpion. So, be mindful not just of your humans that are in part of your family, but also your four-leggeds too.
Maybe even a little manual, that's first aid manual, take it with you that way, because you can't always get, YouTube isn't always there. Or
YouTube's not always there. WebMD's not always
Always
there.
there.
And Dr. Google is definitely not always there.
No. And even sometimes you do find out it's not the right answer.
Correct.
But you can easily make the wrong mistake.
So talk to a healthcare professional who happens to be licensed for what they do. In other words, they are board certified. They've taken a lot of tests in order to care for you and your family. So, don't hesitate to ask those questions.
Right. If you have any questions, or if you want to talk about this or add something to the topic, info@everydayhealthhero.com would be another way to do it. You can also info at Everyday Health Hacker. We've still got that working.
Yes, we'll keep that working,
Keep that working for a while.
as
But I
we
think
switch over.
Health Hero is much better.
Thanks. We're looking
Much
forward
better.
to
I
it.
like that. We can always take it. Please, if you like what you saw today, please subscribe, like it, tell your friends.
Yes, and share. Please share.
And share.
Have a blessed day, and we will see you next time.